Hello, everybody. Welcome. Let's get started. Tesla stock is flat at $385 per share. In the last month, Tesla stock is down 6%. It's been pretty much flat since November 11th. Actually, it's gone up, it surged, and it came back down despite all the news and saga. Let's do a quick sound check. Please let me know if the audio quality is good. Let's see. Looks like good on YouTube. Okay, great. Let's see. Overall markets, Dow Jones up 0.2%, Nasdaq up 1.1%, S&P 500 up 0.6%, Russell 2000 up 2%. Google is a heavily traded stock today, as well as Palantir and Nvidia and Pfizer. PayPal is down 12%. Palantir up 21%. Let's see where it's at right now. $101 per share, about a $233 billion company at about 500 PE ratio. Merck is down 10%. Estee Lauder is down 17%. Microsoft flat after plunging post earnings. It dropped from 450 to 410. It's about 10% drop and staying there. Nvidia struggling to go back above 120. Interesting times for sure. Let's read this article real quick while maybe ACDC can join us. Today's space will be limited to 1 hour, followed by a deep dive into Carvana for subscribers only. Okay. S&P 500 gains. S&P 500 climbed on Tuesday, aided by energy stocks, while investors focused on upcoming talks between U.S. President Donald Trump and Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping after Beijing imposed retaliatory tariffs. 7 of the 11 S&P 500 sectors traded higher, with energy stocks leading the gains with a 2% rise, pairing earlier losses. Trump and Xi were set to talk later in the day. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro said that Politico live event as new 10% tariffs on Chinese imports took effect, which China countered with levies on U.S. goods. Trump had said over the weekend that he would impose a 25% tariff on goods from Mexico and Canada, but agreed to a 30-day pause on Monday in return for border and crime concessions from both countries. Mega caps also rise, aiding a recovery in indices from a tepid start to the session. Alphabet was up 1.6% ahead of the quarterly results, which are due after markets close, while Nvidia advanced 2.5%. Palantir jumped 24% after the data analytics company forecast first quarter and annual revenue above Wall Street estimates. The fundamentals of the market are still solid and earnings growth is great, but every time the President Trump speaks and says he's going to do something, the markets react drastically, said Paul Stanley, CIO at Granite Bay Wealth Management. Palantir just had a great earnings report, and everybody reacts to those big public companies right now and thinks that it's going to have the same impact on all other companies. Biotechnology firm Illumina dropped 6%, while PVH Corp, the holding company for brands including Calvin Klein, shed 1% after China placed the companies in its unreliable entity list. Last-minute change helped the 3 major U.S. stock indices pair some of the heavy losses suffered earlier on Monday and closed trading well off session lows. 3 Federal Reserve officials warned on Monday that trade tariffs carried inflation risks, with one arguing that uncertainty over the outlook for prices called for slower interest rate cuts than otherwise. A Labor Department report showed U.S. job openings stood at 7.6 million compared to an estimated 8 million in December. In earnings-driven moves, Pepsi fell 4% after forecast annual profit below expectations and missed quarterly revenue estimates. Wow. Merck dropped 11% after the drug maker said it would pause shipments of Gardasil to China through at least mid-year, as continued weak demand for the HPV vaccine there is expected to hurt the company's 2025 revenues. PayPal fell 10% after digital payments giant's operating margin shrank in the fourth quarter. All right. Factory orders for December came in nearly 1% down versus the expected 0.3% down. So factory orders are lower as well. Oil at 72, 10-year treasury is at 453. I'm going to read this one. So switching to Tesla, which is about flat today. $1.2 trillion company. I think it's worth about a couple of $100 billion today. But that what can change that is if Optimus is very successful and ramps quickly, etc. Maybe that can change things. But so let's read this article from Phil Basil, ex-Apple, ex-Rivian tech team founder, who I guess is a Tesla investor. He just posted an article that was kind of shared quite a bit, an in-depth article on Optimus. Man, this is a long one. Any questions, comments on anything so far? Please request to speak. If not, I'm going to read this and I'm going to switch to a subscribers only space to dive into Carvana. But before that, just one more thing. For the first, so this is according to Autoline daily update. For the first time, it's top of our screens. Tesla's sales in California dropped down to 12% in 2024. So this is year over year from 2023 to 2024, down 12% for the first time in the company's history. Even before the recent drama hit sales in 2025, California's EV sales, excluding Tesla, grew 20% in 2024. So everybody else's EVs grew 20%, Tesla's down 12%. This is very similar to what we're seeing in China and Europe. So Tesla is losing market share in the three key regions where EV sales are high market share. If you combine China, Europe, and California, you get majority of and most of the world's EV sales in those regions. So okay. Let's read this article from Phil on Optimus. I'm going to quickly skim through this, and if the article isn't good enough at the beginning, we'll switch to something else. Approximately every quarter century, a groundbreaking innovation emerges, reshaping blah, blah, blah. Today, we stand at the threshold in a seismic shift, human-robot, action-based computing, etc. The visionaries and their products, Steve and Elon, okay. The computer revolution, some history. As mobile computing reaches its peak, another shift is on the horizon. Mobile devices will give way to a new form of action-based computing, where human robots perform tasks autonomously, communicate naturally with their human owners, adapt to human environments. Okay. While Apple defined the first two computer revolutions with the Macintosh and the iPhone, Tesla is poised to define the third, leading the shift to humanoid autonomy with Optimus. Okay. Personal computer. There's a lot of history here. I'm going to skip that. Since the late 70s, the personal computers have seen as an exponential increase in processing power, memory, storage, and display resolution, etc. By 2024, modern Macs are thousands of times faster with vastly greater memory and storage. Okay, we all know this. Smartphone, same. Optimus. By 2025, Tesla's Optimus robot is in its first generation, powered by a custom AI processor, multiple cameras, 2 forward, 1 rear, and electronic actuators for movement. It relies on neural networks for real-time decision-making, similar to AI using, etc. Battery life supports several hours of operation. Now, looking a decade ahead, Optimus will likely benefit from massive improvements in computing memory and AI. It could feature multi-core AI processors exceeding 100 teraflops, enabling more advanced real-time learning. Okay. I think we all agree on this. In terms of computing power, Optimus requires at least 10 times the processing capability of a high-end smartphone, including specialized AI processors, etc. Okay. Optimus is only possible now because key tech have reached their tipping points. Okay. Let's interface. Personal computer with the launch of Apple Macintosh introduced the graphical user interface. The iPhone introduced multi-touch. Okay. Optimus will redefine human-computer interaction by harnessing the power of natural voice communication. I'm just reading the first sentences of each paragraph here to see if there's anything to dig into. Being handy, 4 per finger, 5 per thumb, 3 for the wrists, 24 degrees of freedom. Elon Musk highlighted during the most recent earnings call that Optimus' hands had the skills to play the piano. Okay, this is nothing new. Being embodied. Conclusion. Personal computer adoption. Okay, see how there's nothing new here. All right. Trump-Xi call canceled amid trade tensions. A planned conversation between U.S. President Donald Trump and China's President Xi Jinping, scheduled for Tuesday, was canceled, as reported by the Wall Street Journal. This development comes amidst ongoing trade tensions, with the U.S. and China recently imposing tariffs on each other's goods. The cancellation of the call was unexpected, following a statement from the trade advisor Peter Navarro suggesting a conversation would take place. Interesting. It's also interesting that the markets didn't really react to this Wall Street Journal news. Hey, CDC, what do you think about this call being canceled?
I'm sorry, I just reconnected. What Wall Street news were you talking about?
Wall Street Journal reports that call between Trump and Xi is canceled today.
Oh, I didn't hear that. Wow. Yeah, because um, I was thinking this was a positive that he had indicated they're going to be talking sooner than later in the week, but that's surprising. And I think this is going to kind of weigh on the markets still, because I mean, the Canada and Mexico, there was some headline news around that, but this is a big part. We get, in terms of at least inflation drivers, our trade with China is a big part. So negotiations are very crucial.
Yeah. Um, the yields are down a couple basis points today. 4.53 for the 10-year Treasury yield. Do you think the 10-year sees 5 or 4 first?
Well, we'll find out after the jobs report this Friday. A little bit better picture. The JOLTS report came out this morning. Wasn't all that good. So depending on Friday's job reports, I think we're actually going to see a downward move on the interest rates. I think you'll definitely see 4 before 5.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Any thoughts on Palantir? It's up about 20%, I think, still. I closed my short position.
I just saw some headlines. It's a stock that I don't follow or and out of my valuation sphere, but I mean it's crazy. This is I mean it's being priced in the stratosphere. And granted, they have earnings momentum, but the valuations are just unbelievable at this point.
Yeah. Angela, what do you think of Palantir or any other topic you want to talk about?
Sorry for the delay. I had to mute the background. No, I'm very positive, right? Imagine that, right? But for those of you who don't know me, I'm pretty optimistic about the market in general. And Palantir, I kicked ass on the calls, and I've been a long-term stockholder at $9. And um, listening to the earnings call, honestly, beyond the beats or whatever, the most impressive things for me right now was the amount of customers that they were able to sell to and create contracts within the last quarter. So if I get the numbers correctly, I think 26 were the number of customers that they had. The prediction, the forecast was, I think, 34 or 38, and they came in at 83. Huge beat on that. To me, that's tremendous. And I've sold software with working with Cisco to the government before, and I think they've got a lot of tailwinds ahead of them. So pretty bullish.
Okay, great. Um, do you have a target on the stock, or are you just kind of holding it?
I mean, I'm just holding it for the long term, but I mean, I can easily see this stock to 300, no problem. In the next, I would give it 2 years.
Okay. Wave.
Yeah, man. Good timing on closing the short. I have a question
Well,
for.
not really. I closed it after it jumped.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Keep
It's
going.
pretty amazing. I'm actually holding it, and I'm planning on trimming it. I'm thinking of trimming it today. I'm still.
Wave, your connection is really bad. You're cutting in and out. ACDC, any other thoughts on Palantir?
I actually just wanted to get Angela's thoughts quickly. There's a lot of talks about, what Doge is doing within the government and how Palantir kind of aligns with that. So, with her software experience, can she kind of talk a little bit about that?
Angela?
No, thank you. I'm happy to. I don't have a lot of knowledge around what is. I think it's pretty privy information. I was on a space yesterday, and they were saying how only top tier, whatever secret service or whatever has access to the software. That's not accurate, but it is accurate when you come to, obviously, governmental, like a SpaceX. So I would definitely think that. So I'll share with my background with Cisco. The government software is typically homegrown, believe it or not. They don't trust anyone. Okay, so it's very homegrown, but it's horrible. I worked with the FBI and I worked with the veterans, so the VA, and it's has so many holes in it. It's created more damage than what they could have by working with a third party. So for whatever reason, contracting with Palantir, they've really learned trust with that company, and that's a really great thing. So relative to Elon, I would imagine, with Dojo and with SpaceX, I don't know which part of it, it is, but it's a very positive thing.
Okay.
Just from a pure security perspective.
Okay. Wave, you want to try again if your connection is better?
Yeah, how does this sound? Any better?
Yeah, it's better.
Yeah, the question was your $300 target in, let's say, 3 years, or that you had. At what point, if that's the case, are you purchasing more today? Am I selling my shares to you?
And
I mean, if that's to me, I'll wait. $100 level is always psychological, and typically it will fall below that, and then I will be an additional buyer. Yes, I
okay.
will continue to
Angela,
add.
how did you get to your $300 per share target?
Well, I was hoping you weren't going to ask me that, Yaman. um, I don't have a financial number for it, but so I think 2025 is going to be the year of software. So software has the sector in general, the IGV has been a laggard for what now for 2 years, and I think that they will take off. I don't know if Palantir has acquisition plans, but I think that could be part of the play. But to me, a double is just easy. So I guess I overshot a double.
Okay.
Do they have enough cash for acquisition? I don't know what their cash position is.
They do. 6.3 billion, I believe, cash flow.
And no debt, right?
No,
Is that
you're
you?
talking about cash balance. Their cash flow is not 6.3 billion.
Yeah, I don't really look at that. I was just on the earnings call, so I was trying to take notes, but
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what they're building is pretty impressive, and I should have probably done more research, kind of before taking a short position. But
the other thing I would add, sorry, just to say, you know, I don't know if you guys are believers in the whole space outside of SpaceX. I'm
no,
very.
can I just finish what I was saying, Angela,
I'm
first?
sorry, of course.
Thank you. I should have done more research, but I don't think the valuation is kind of out there. You have,
It is totally.
do you know their revenue, Angela?
I don't, but their market cap now has surpassed McDonald's. I do know
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
There's obviously like the revenue multiple is absurd. It's like 60 times, and they don't have any gap profits. They get a lot of stock-based compensation. I mean, I'm sure all Palantir bulls have heard all of these things, but um, there's a lot of stock-based compensation. It's not really clear um, how fast and at what level of profitability the company can grow without that stock-based compensation. So it's debatable whether it should be an actual expense or dilution or whatever. But it doesn't look like they have a direct competitor today. They're moving really fast, but that also doesn't mean they're not going to have a competitor in the future. So, but so far what they've accomplished is very impressive. But I kind of want to just take a break from the stock a little bit, go back and kind of underwrite how I think about the company, and then maybe consider another short position or something else. Anyway, all right, it's probably time to move on from Palantir if there's no other specific thoughts. Okay,
I
great.
just want to. I just
Okay.
want to say thank you, and I respect you for making it public when you did go short, and yesterday when you covered it. So I think thanks for
Yeah.
doing that.
Okay, no problem. Although I don't know if I'm going to keep doing that, honestly. I don't know what the upside to that doing that is. I just wanted the first time I did was for Tesla because I run the Tesla Live, and I want people to be aware of my bias. But I don't know if there's any value to, especially now that I can do subscribers only spaces. Maybe let's do it for subscribers only. We'll see. Today we're going to have a subscribers only space on Carvana in about a half hour. Going to dig a little deeper into it. So I tried to make some notes on my Palantir experience and see what I learned, and kind of go back to the other investments and see if I made the similar mistakes. Like I know what the mistakes I made are, so um, I'll try not to repeat those, I guess. All right. ACDC, what do you think about this stat at the top? Tesla sales in California dropped down 12%. I think Angela and Wave are also Tesla investors. Angela, you're an investor in Tesla, right? And you hold it long term. What do you think of this stat at the top?
Gosh, I don't know what to think about it, to be honest. I don't have I've been a long-term investor since 2014. Many of shares got hurt, obviously, 2022. That was painful. But rode the wave. I don't really have an opinion. I'm very bullish on the stock right now. I will say I think that we're holding a support level. I guess that's all I can
Okay, so
provide.
Angela's approaching it from a technical
Technical. Mhm.
standpoint, and she says Tesla stock is holding a support level. Angela, what is that support level? Like 385, 380?
Yeah, at 380, I think. I mean, I think if we get to 400, I think it's takeoff time.
Okay. Wave, you're a long-term investor, right? What do you think about this at the top and what Angela said?
I'm driving, so I can't read what you have on the top.
Yeah, I'll read it to you. For the first time, Tesla sales in California dropped down 12% in 2024, even before the recent drama hit sales. California's EV sales, excluding Tesla, grew 20%. So Tesla sales dropped 12%. California's EV sales, excluding Tesla, grew 20% in 2024.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, and I don't see it picking up either near future, at least in California. And I live in California and go up and down California a lot. And it started with it's a blue state, so that's one component of it. The other component of it, there's competitors. I see a lot more Hyundai cars, I would say, the most. I see a lot of Rivian. Um, but Hyundai is taking quite a bit of the market that's out here, so I'm not surprised.
Does it make you consider selling your stock, or are you more focused on FSD, robotaxis, Optimus type of stuff?
I've been taking when it goes over 400, I've been trimming. Uh,
Mm,
I've been a long-term shareholder as well too, and so I rebalance when it gets to a certain point of our overall portfolio. I've been trimming,
yeah,
and if it gets down in 350, I might purchase, but it all depends if Optimus comes to fruition.
right, right.
Because we've talked a year or so ago when they first did the Optimus. I was more optimistic about Optimus.
Yeah, me too. Me too. But I think just the experience with FSD, how slow it's been improving. It's moving in the right direction, but it's not improving in sort of um, like ChatGPT type of pace. So I think it's going to be a while. And same for Optimus, I think.
Yeah, and I think I'm looking at it strictly from a revenue standpoint, right?
Yeah. What do you think of? So with that in mind, what do you think of the things that Elon said on the call about Optimus sales starting soon, and the numbers that he kind of threw out?
I wasn't surprised. I mean, he told us he was all in on Optimus. He already knew that the revenue is going to come from that a year ago. That's why I was optimistic about Optimus. I still am. I think he's all in. He already knows that's where he's always moving to the next thing. Um, and as the market and conditions change, and that's the only thing that's going to bring the fact. If you have to reallocate resources within a company, and you have those three levers you can pull: selling hardware, selling software for FSD or robotaxis or Optimus. We'll put everything on the Optimus as well too, and let the other ones run. So I,
Yeah,
I'll wait to see this year. Um, I think what I'm concerned about the Optimus is the human selling it to consumer, and it's going to be very difficult.
right.
US is not as open to automation. Look at FSD, for example. It has to be perfect in order to go out to consumers. For factories, yeah, but not for consumers.
Yeah,
I mean, risk is too high. It's almost like the FSD. You have to take complete liability.
yeah, and maybe they will. I mean, they made some comments on they're not introducing insurance discounts. I think you can get up to 10% discount on the insurance rate if you drive majority of the miles on FSD in Texas and Arizona. 10% of certain coverage, so overall insurance rate probably going to be more like 5% discount. So if your insurance is about, say, I don't know, $2,000 a year, you can get, something like $100 discount per year if you drive most of the miles on FSD. So, it's small, but I guess it shows the kind of strategy they want to follow.
Agree. I don't think it's enough, though. I mean, I think they need to go up to when I'm running at least 50% to even make it to increase the uptake of supervised FSD.
Yeah, they're definitely they're testing there. They're just testing a lot, and it's hard to see that growing anytime soon because FSD is not perfect yet. One, and then two, insurance business is not profitable. So um, that's going to be years, I think, before that becomes a material thing. Angela, what do you think as a Tesla investor?
I mean, there were a lot of parts there, but uh, so I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now as I listen to the conversation and my mind strayed. But I really love the fact that Waymo is getting a lot more attention. So, and I say that from a optimistic Tesla investor that I think Waymo is actually setting the stage. Very different companies, right? But the fact that we're consciously educating the consumer that riding in an autonomous vehicle is safe, I think is a really great thing. And beyond the regulation and what have you, I think Tesla will then have the upper edge once the consumer finds a level of comfortability from a safety perspective to ride in those vehicles. And as we know, Waymo has expanded the number of states that they are in right now. In terms of the revenue on the insurance, to me, it's kind of a mute point, but I do think that I think it's a confidence builder if you're buying a Tesla that you have insurance to go with it. So to me, it's just like Elon backing the vehicle and saying, "Hey, we've got you." What other point did I miss? Um, FSD. I think it's going to be here sooner than we think, and I think in Elon's position with Doge right now, he has the opportunity to reinforce the opportunity to regulate around safety, and that it's I sold robotics, so I know how um, the robotics are safer than a human potential error. It's factual.
Wait,
Hey, Angela, just a definition of FSD.
Mhm.
Did you mean, or do you say distinguish between robotaxi when you were comparing it with Waymo? Uh, when do you think, he said June or July, let's say in Austin, because they have to take full ownership of that. And when I was talking about FSD, was supervised FSD, where insurance is used as a lever to incentivize people to subscribe $99 a month or buy it outright.
Oh, I see. If you're going on Elon's timeline, I would go with the supervised. I think you're spot on, right? But full autonomous robo taxis, I would say, would be out to 2026 to get the regulation under cover. That just my opinion without really having all the facts.
And end of 2026 to start, or like be in a couple of cities.
I would say first quarter. And I would not doubt he's going to go, Texas is, his baby right now. And I think he's got a lot of power there. And I think
Uh,
he's got a lot of power in Nevada as well, which has,
Angela. So when you say robotaxis, these are commercial paid rides in Austin. Is that what you're saying?
yes.
Okay. And how many do you think they're going to do?
Oh gosh, I mean, we have to start with the pilot program first. I don't do you know what did Waymo do in their pilot program? How
So
many?
Waymo has about 1,000 vehicles going around, and they're scaling pretty fast now. And
Ooh,
they
okay.
just raised 5 billion from Google, and so I would expect tens of thousands of vehicles within the next year or two from Waymo.
I mean, off the cuff, I would just at least half of that. Start out with 500 and see where we go. I think
So
Elon
you think
will be
Tesla will have 500 robotaxis
by
by
2026
Q1
first quarter.
Q1 2026? Okay. You want to bet on that? Coffee
Yep.
bet?
Coffee bet.
Okay, cool. AR112100. Let me just type this up real quick.
You still owe me a coffee for that live little moment.
Hold on. AR112100. And we're saying 500 Tesla robotaxis by Q1 2026. Cool. And
And
I'll
that's
give
conservative.
you anywhere,
All right.
not just Austin. So
Okay.
if Elon does it in his parking lot, I'll give you that too. Okay. But they have to be commercial rides. Okay. Commercial paid rides, like not just employees driving around in the Tesla Gigafactory. So these are commercial paid rides, like you can call it and everything. Q1 2026.
Yep. App on your phone and let's go.
Okay. What do you think, Angela, are the bottlenecks to get to that point? Angela?
Yeah, no, I'm just giving it thought. I mean, obviously regulations, I think the government, but he's in a great position now. So a lot of my, past thoughts have kind of gone away. Uh it's a
You know what?
trickle down
I'm
effect.
gonna give you the entire 2026. Okay, so we'll do end of 2026, just to kind of make it a bit fair, I think. But this is
That's not how golfers play. So
what do you mean, golfers?
I get the back at the tee box because I'm a female, but
Oh, yeah,
you just help me out there.
yeah, that's okay.
Okay, I want to know why you did that.
Because it's too easy. I don't know. So I don't think it's fair.
That's 1 year from now. 1 year from now, and
Well,
I
end
think
of 2026 is a year, 2 years almost. So end of 20, yeah, Q1's 1 year. You're right.
yeah,
I
we're in
just don't think.
2025. Mhm.
Yeah, I just don't think even Harbor 5 is going to be enough for robotaxis.
I just think the speed of things are happening so quickly that I would not put any doubt in Elon. I just don't have a single doubt that can happen.
Well, I mean, you
Um,
could have said that when he said 1 million robotaxis by 2020. You would have been wrong. So what's different now?
I mean, I think I just answered. I mean, okay, so I would never have said that back in 2020. Okay, I would never have said that.
Why not?
Just our technology, whether it's AI, whether it's robotics, we have just really transformed very quickly in the last. It's amazing, and just in the last 2 years, I can't even believe how fast we've come. So to think what we're going to do in the next 2 years is going to be unbelievable. And now he's in a driver's seat to actually prove statistically that the safety of moving FSD. Now, are there components that I think our government's not going to like? Because I think that which also falls into the Doge role, and that is cutting government employees. And sorry if I offend anyone, but I mean, we have a lot of police officers, we have a lot of lawyers, we have a lot of, I mean, imagine if you're going to stop the speeding tickets, if we're going to stop, the DUIs, if we're going to stop all of that has an effect where each state has achieved, taxation in a profitable way for them to pay for those government employees. I think they're going to find a different way to achieve that, but that will be, it's a change agent that is needed in that capacity, as
I
well as
and I don't know
insurance.
how that helps Tesla achieve software that can drive people around with 99.9999% reliability.
But look how, I mean, you even said it right. Look, I mean, look how fast FSD has
I didn't
come.
say that. I didn't say that. I said AI in general is improving fast, but some of these innovations that are happening are just not applicable to FSD.
Like what?
I was doing some research this morning on mixture of experts, for example. And I think a key issue with FSD is that everything needs to happen very quickly. Like the decision need to be made very quickly. And you just can't introduce delays into the process. And it has to happen locally too. So you can't just like call the cloud and ask, what should I do here? I mean, Waymo does that to a certain extent with human supervisor and everything, but that limits your scalability, profitability, etc. So I just think the true autonomy, where the vehicle is making decisions at a very rapid pace with high reliability, is still 2030 plus.
How fast do you think quantum is coming?
It's not coming at all. Definitely not to the cars.
Wow. Okay. How about ASI?
Well, again, like I said, it has to run on the car locally. So I don't think ASI is coming to the car anytime soon.
So where are we in comparison to China on FSD, full autonomous? Where's China right now?
Well, my understanding is that BYD is including LiDAR on its cars, or $25,000 cars, which implies to me that, hold on, we had a couple of hands go up. ACDC?
I just wanted to the point answer to Angela's point of China, that I think China is more advanced right now with their incorporation of lidar along with it. For anybody who has not seen Kyle Connor's video on the Avatar using ASD 3.2 is what they call it. He called it the most advanced FSD that he's ever seen. And in China, the driving is a lot different than the US. There's no such stop signs. It's basically, come as you go. You got to have to push your way around. You have to make your way. And that's exactly what the car was doing. So it's a positive. That means that the technology can do it. And hopefully FSD can also do it. But I don't know if it's because of the assistance of LiDAR or not, but they definitely are doing it there.
Yeah. Wave?
That's exactly what I was going to respond back. Is Huawei has really good demonstration over the last couple of years, and they're definitely and they're looking at licensing it to everyone. So the way they're looking at it is very
Right.
similar to Google.
Right. And then on top of all that, Waymo, like I said, just raised $5 billion, and that buys you a lot of cars. For $5 billion, I mean, you can't buy, let's see, let's assume a kind of stripped down robotaxi you're buying from, for $50,000.
Yeah, Hyundai is doing that today and
Yeah,
lower.
so that's $100,000, 100,000 cars, 100,000 robotaxis for Waymo. And they can raise 10 times of that if Google has the money and the cash flow, obviously. Google has way more money than Tesla. So if it's just a matter of buying cars and scaling that with some aperture, and we know LiDAR costs are come down so substantially that BYD is adding up to $25,000 cars now, then any sort of innovation that comes to AI through AI research is more likely to be applied for Waymo than Tesla, because Waymo is actually the one innovating. Like Google DeepMind is the one that's innovating. There's no innovation on AI coming from Tesla. Tesla is kind of trying to fall back on its manufacturing expertise that they talk about, but there's no evidence of that either. BYD is producing cars at half the cost. BYD is making more money, net income. BYD is scaling multiple times faster and is also now producing more cars. So, in any shape or form, you want to talk about manufacturing prowess, BYD or other Chinese automakers are years ahead of Tesla. And Tesla now doesn't have a focus leader either, who's paid. So, I mean, any shape or form you want to look at this, like, I don't really understand the optimism that you have, honestly. Active.
Hi. So they also have an issue with just by using cameras, that the sun glare issue. I don't know if they have a solution for that. Maybe coating the cameras or using adjustable ND filters. But you have to mount those things. I don't know if it's in the cameras. And because once you point the camera towards directly towards the sun, it blinds it totally. It doesn't see anything. But it can be fixed with these.
When I'm driving too, honestly, like the other day I was driving, it's like the sun right in front of you, kind of hard to see, even if you adjust your head around.
Yeah, I know. That's what you do as a human. You go to
So
the
the thing
left,
is, like,
go to
so
the
the
right.
argument was the camera's only approach will be more profitable, will be more scalable, etc. But lidar costs have come down very very quickly,
Yeah, they're
and
putting lidar in DJI drones, even the cheap ones. Which is, I mean, how? I mean, that's insane.
yeah,
I think I think Tesla should maybe include that in the robotaxi thing.
okay, Wave.
Yeah, the issue is not hardware and hardware pricing, and it's never been that. Andre and I think a couple other folks talked about this before. It's the fusion of it's a software issue, and that's why they don't have it. And they may have figured it out or try to figure it out for the actual robotaxi that we saw in Hollywood. They might come up with a different suite for the robotaxi, and then another software in parallel that's running that we haven't heard about.
I mean, I think the Cybercab will probably have hardware 5 or 6 to start with for testing, but I don't think it's gonna have lidar. Like Elon appears very decisive on that. Like he's made the decision. There's not gonna be lidar. He's said the same thing. But what he hasn't really answered, the question that keeps coming up from year after year, is like, why not add lidar? If the costs are so low, then why not add it? And if
Yeah,
BYD is adding it to $25,000 cars, then the costs are low enough. Because it's a high volume manufacturer. They're not going to just produce a few thousand of these things.
but I think if he says that they're not they're gonna include lidar, then all the statements that we're gonna have 3 million robotaxis by
Oh, I don't think anyone believes that anyway. I don't think at this point there's not a
yeah,
single
but the Wall
person.
Street maybe believes it, or somebody believes it.
Yeah,
They bought a car for.
I don't think at this point anybody believes that Tesla's existing fleet will be robotaxiable. I think that's just ridiculous. That
You
claim is
think?
ridiculous.
I think
Even
about.
Elon doesn't say that anymore. So,
Yeah.
I don't think he's said it in the last year or so. He's definitely pulled back on his optimism on robotaxis in the past.
There's also, I mean, one thing is they can, with the ND filters, they have to solve that for sun glare, and another one is they got to get AI to reason, because with current AI technology, it's not reasoning and it's also hallucinating. Happens with ChatGPT, happens with all the different AIs. So if somebody comes up with a way to get AI to actually reason like a human, then I think they'll solve it. But until then, it's gonna be tough. Maybe somebody does it. I don't know. I'm not an AI scientist, but so far nobody has done it. It's not even close, even though they claim all sorts of things.
Okay. Angela, do you want to respond to any of those?
I guess I would just say, I mean, in terms of the lidar, I don't. I wish I had a better understanding around the software. I'm of the opinion that Elon can solve basically anything that he wants to solve or put his mind to. So he clearly does not find value even in pilot testings and giving it, one or two tries or what have you. It doesn't find the credibility there. So I put my faith there. Um, uh, no, I think he's very, very focused on AI, and he knows the power of AI. And I think, quite frankly, my opinion, controversial, is that he is held back tremendously in his knowledge of AI and the capacity of what it can actually do before he unleashes. And when he unleashes, look out. It will rock everybody's world.
Okay. Um, yeah, I honestly think that it's more likely that Tesla will put Optimus on the back burner, just like they did with Solar Roof and other projects. I don't think
Why
Optimus.
would you say that?
I don't think Optimus will. I mean, first of all, look at what he said about if I don't control Tesla, then I don't feel comfortable developing AI technology in Tesla, and so that's number one. And then secondly, I think Optimus, um, is going to develop Optimus. I think you're going to need tens of billions of dollars of capex to build the data centers and train AI to the kind of useful level that so they can sell. Um, and Tesla doesn't have that money. Tesla generates. I mean, Tesla is unprofitable right now. I don't think people realize this. Tesla doesn't make any money today.
Also, I have a question.
And hold on one second.
Sorry.
And then on top of that, sometimes people say, well, Tesla can produce Optimus much faster, but that's like I said earlier, I think Tesla's manufacturing prowess is just not there. I think people are just now looking at what's happening in China. There are hundreds of companies trying to do the same thing and some of them have more capital than Tesla does on this front, and they're focused solely on this topic. So I think those companies are more likely to be successful, especially because Elon is not even focused on Tesla right now. So I think it's more likely that Optimus project will be put on the back burner. Wade, what do you think? And then Chris.
I accept the capital requirement, the focus, and agree on those two. I My initial thesis on Tesla when I first invested was listening to JB Straubel, and I really went in on them more as an energy company when no one was looking at the energy, just because of one of the presentations that Straubel gave. And he's on the board now, which is good. So there is somebody, I think, on the board level at least, is focused on that. But as far as auto, I agree, they're not making any profit, and uh, if they don't, the energy will do fine on its own if you spin it out. So I'm always looking at if some of the parts, even breaking it up to get the focus, to get the value. But even that's turning into commodity. They don't have the lead that they had with
Exactly.
EVs. And the key is the lead. If you got a few years lead in the manufacturing prowess, and he knows that. That's why he was all in a year ago on Optimus. To me, he's going all out, putting everything into Optimus, because that's the only thing that's going to save Tesla in terms of revenue, just to sustain everything that all the factories that they have. And I think they're agile enough to do that. But I haven't seen anyone beside him come out. So like Ashok comes out on the FSD. I'd like to see some leaders on the Optimus side and maybe have an Optimus day or something to increase my conviction.
See, I would agree with you, but only if like he was sleeping on the factory or he was in the AI headquarters every single day in, day out, pushing people, recruiting new people, and testing and failing. And that's just not what's happening at Tesla. He's not there. He's not there. He's not going to be there. And why should he be there? He's not paid to be there. Right.
Well, it depends. If he's got the leaders, and the leaders' stock options are based on that, because without that, if the leaders have any sense, they know those options would be underwater in 2 years or sooner. In 12 months, they'll be all underwater.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So if he's recruited the best, and the best they're paying attention, uh, and they're focusing, then they know that. So that's their motivation.
I know, but you know it's not the same when your boss is right there.
Oh, 100%. The founder is a big difference.
Right. Chris and then Ekte.
Yeah, I agree. I think Elon has been the QB for Tesla for a lot of years, from 2012 to 2021. He was the difference maker, sleeping at the factory. He's sleeping at the White House now. He's been campaigning for Trump for 6 months. He said Doge is on a warpath, and I think he's really excited about the work he's doing now in Washington. And he's got SpaceX, he's got Neuralink. He's not all in at Tesla right now. I think that makes a difference. Also, I used to work for Tesla. I worked on the solar roof project. It was a disaster. Basically, the leadership made some really bad decisions. Um, they entered markets they never should have entered, wasted tons of money, unbelievable amounts of money. And so they ultimately did a 180 and shrank that down. It's basically a niche product now. So I get to see firsthand on the front lines how Elon's not perfect, Tesla's not perfect. These things are really hard, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I put a graph in the chat that just came out from ARK Invest. They put out their 2025 big ideas thing, and they have this chart that shows Waymo intervention rate post commercialization, and then they have some predictions for Tesla's next full self-driving versions. So I'm curious to hear, what you guys think of ARK Invest and this chart.
I don't see it. Is it in the
It's
in
in
the
a
pill here?
reply. It's in a reply to this space. They talk about how FSD 13.6 by second half of 2025 is going to get to human driver accident rate, but they go from 11 FSD 11 to 12 to 13. But obviously, the one thing that's missing here is the human supervision element. Is that these numbers are with a human supervisor. So I don't think this is even apples to like I don't think this is a good data. I don't generally think too highly of Archimist. Ekte, and then we're gonna switch to the subscribers on the space to talk about Carvana. Ekte, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was thinking so Elon has Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, now this Dodge stuff, plus the robot sounds like a very complicated project. I mean, I'm very good at my job. I'm excellent, and I'm good at two things, and I don't have time for more things. I have to turn down things because I can't spread myself that thin. So I don't know how he does it, but I would rather have him focus on just one thing or maybe two things.
Okay, thank you, Ekte. All right, we have like I said earlier, we have a hard spot at 1 hour, and this is exactly 1 hour. So we're gonna switch now to subscribers only. So subscribers, please hop on to the next space. Thank you very much.